I would like to invite Dr. Ravi Shankar, sir, who will be joining us online. Sir, please do the honors to address our STEAM gathering. Please, everyone, give a big round of applause to Dr. Ravi Shankar, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Adharaniya Director, sir, Dr. Rana Singh, and fellow panelists and other dignitaries, I want to thank Vibhash Kumar, who's one of your professors of practice, for inviting me today. And it is actually quite interesting that on this exciting day of the new journey, as Dr. Rana Singh has articulated so eloquently and with such energy, that I'm able to participate and give you a few of my words of experience. I don't want to give you advice. The young generation is smart. You can figure a lot of things out. But I'll share my experiences and my observations and leave you to decide what makes sense for you. But it has got to be said today that today is a turning point in your life. आप अपने जीवन की यात्रा में एक अलग पग पे पहुंच चुके हैं और इस यात्रा में आपको कहाँ आगे जाना है, किस तरफ जाना है, ये आपके हाथों में है। ये आप किस तरह से इसका फायदा उठाते हैं, इस मौके का, इस ग्रेट इंस्टीट्यूट का। विभाष ने मेरे को बताया इस इंस्टीट्यूट के बारे में। मैंने पास्ट 3-4 डेज में काफी रिसर्च किया, काफी पढ़ा, और इट इज वेरी इंप्रेसिव व्हाट हैज बीन क्रिएटेड इन बिहार. As most of you probably know, I was born and brought up in Bihar, in Gaya, and I went to BIT Sindri with Vibhash, and that's where we both met as friends. And after 30 plus years, we are still friends, and that tells you something about the future you can look forward to with your friends as well here. So in the few minutes here, I want to share some observations and learnings. Dr. Rana Singh has articulated very well the competitive environment that you are in and what you need to do to excel and to distinguish yourselves. So what I'm going to talk a little bit about are the things that I have observed in terms of things that have changed, but things that despite the change remain the same. So the first thing that is obvious to everybody is the change in technology. I remember the days when Vibhash and I were doing our numerical analysis course, and we'd write Fortran code on a piece of paper and think this was how computer programs are written. And then I landed in the US to do my PhD, and my very first teaching assignment job was to be a teaching assistant for a computational fluid dynamics course with a lot of coding. So needless to say, for 6 months, I didn't get any sleep. I slept in the lab and I learned how to do it. So those are things that are not going to change. The pace of technology is not going to change. The pace of how information comes to your fingertips and how you use to make that decision is not going to change. What that means is that the cycle time for decision making is going to significantly get compressed. So how does this impact you? The important thing is that despite the fact that there is more decisions being made faster and quicker, every organization needs young and talented people like yourself to manage this change, to be at the forefront of this change, to be the people who look out for what are the changing trends, what's the changing dynamics, what's the new data, and people who can actually make some good judgment and good decisions based on this. So that while the change in the pace of technology is there is still the need for young and talented minds like you, which have the resolute, as Dr. Singh said, the competencies, the skills, but also the drive to excel and to do well. So this drive has to come from within you, and that is something you're going to have to cultivate over the next couple of years as you work with your friends. The other important change that is going to happen, and it is going to happen perhaps more so in the West first before it happens in India, is the nature of work. What is going to happen is what has happened historically with mechanization and robotics and the reduction of number of laborers required to do a job in any plant. If you go to any motor factory, any large factory, you'll see few people doing assembly work. It's all mostly mechanized. The same process is going to unleash in the corporate world among the white collar jobs. A lot of the jobs are going to get mechanized because of the work processes, because of artificial intelligence, the ability to read and comprehend large tomes of data and to analyze it in a rapid fashion. But what is not going to change is still the people who will ask the question, so what? What is the impact of this on my organization? What is the impact of this on my business? What is the impact of this on my future strategies? So that is where you have to step in. Each one of you as management graduates are going to be uniquely put together, are going to be uniquely in position of the skill sets of understanding the impact of all these changes on your business, on your strategy, and as you develop, how you will shape the future of your organization that you work with. So while the nature of work is changing, the challenges for you as an employee, as an owner, as a participant, as a management professional are not going to be different. They're going to be the same. As you'll probably go through in the next couple of years, you'll read everything from Porter's 5 Force analysis to read the more newer books on strategy and blue ocean theories and things like that. But I want to leave you with one fundamental concept, is that the timeless principles in managing business are fundamentally 3 variables, which is the people meaning your organization, the skill sets, the core competencies that your organization builds, the cash, which is the money and how you collect money, how you generate revenues, how you finance your organization, how you manage your cash flow, and lastly, time. And time is where most successful organizations differentiate themselves these days, because people are available and fungible across organizations. People are changing jobs, are easily attracted from one company to another. Cash is more or less readily available for a good story. These days, the lack of capital is not a requirement, is not an issue for growth. What is a requirement is the ability to execute. So if you join an organization and create an organization that executes rapidly, that is going to be a unique competitive advantage. And in order to do that, you have to understand the principles of management, which over the next 2 years, you'll have great opportunity to do. So as I kind of wrap up this part of the discussion, what I'd like to suggest is, from my experience, what should you do over the next 2 years beyond just getting excellent at the subject matter that you're being taught? What are the things that you should focus on? What I have found helpful in my career are the following. One is to have an insatiable curiosity about everything. Always be curious about the industry, the markets, the economic policies, how things affect other things that you don't see it. Look around the corner, look for trends that are very early on and try to predict those trends. Try to create an internal game of understanding what is happening in the industry, especially in a place like India where there are so many cross currents, so many economic sectors, so many growth opportunities. Have this insatiable curiosity. Read everything you can. Get hold of any article. Every article has a perspective. Don't necessarily believe everything you read, but try to get a perspective, try to form a rounded opinion. Maximize your turn learning from your teachers and your friends and classmates. This is the one thing that we used to do very well, is among our class, there were some guys who were good at one subject, some guys were good at other subject, and we'd all team together and teach each other. Each of you in your group are coming from different backgrounds, some from science, some from commerce, some from other subjects, engineering. Try to form teams where you leverage from each other and learn from each other. So that is the first thing, is learning and having an insatiable curiosity about all topics that could impact your future, about the country, about the industry, etc. The second thing is probably less self-evident, but you have to be thoughtful and you have to be deliberate about it, which is to learn about yourself. You have to spend time introspecting. You have to understand what your own strengths and weaknesses are. What are your likes and dislikes? Develop a viewpoint about who you are and see if your colleagues and friends agree with you. Use this 360 feedback from your friends. Try to build a persona of yourself that tells you how you react under various situations. Try to build this resilience in your character. This also helps you as you move into an organization that you know who to support yourself with when you take on critical roles. You need to know if you are an impetuous decision maker, how do you bring thoughtful people in? If you're overly analytical, how do you maybe bring some people in who are more decisive in their approach? So these are formative years. Take advantage of your friends, break cultural silos, functional silos, reach across, travel outside your comfort zone, go to states outside Bihar, look at what's going on around and educate yourself, but most importantly, focus on learning about yourself. As the college I went to for my intermediate science in Gaya College, the motto was Atma Deepo Bhava. This is what you have to become. You have to become a light for yourself, and you have to shed light for others to see you and to illuminate the path for others. So you have to do that. I would highly recommend you do that. There was a discussion Dr. Rana Singh mentioned about competition. Yes, it's a very competitive world out there. And yes, you're constantly looking over your shoulder as to who's going to get better than me, who's getting a better marks than me, who's getting a better job offer than me. But understand that at the end of the day, the satisfaction in your life is going to come when you feel you have outcompeted yourself, when you feel that you have done the best that you can under the circumstances, and the fact that you did not leave any stone unturned. So it is very important for you to think about every day as you get up, every task that you take, every project assignment that you do, that you compete with yourself. ये अंदर से आग आपके अंदर होनी चाहिए कि मैंने लास्ट टाइम जो काम किया था उससे मैं बेहतर काम इस बार कर सकता हूँ, इससे बेहतर एनालिसिस कर सकता हूँ, इससे बेहतर प्रेजेंटेशन लिख सकता हूँ, इससे बेहतर इनसाइट दे सकता हूँ. So this feeling of trying to outcompete yourself is very critical, and it is this that will drive you to excellence in your field. Because if all you're surrounded by are mediocre people, you will never get better. So the question is, you have to compete with yourself and understand that excellence in any field is not just easily gotten. Even the best tennis players, the best soccer players, the best pick your favorite cricketers, they spend hours and hours on the pitch. They spend hours and hours when the cameras are not there and people are not watching them, practicing and getting ready. So it will take time, it will take effort. Don't lose heart if you have a few failures along the way, because failures will often teach you more than what successes do. And lastly, before I leave you with this, I would say this, that as you think about your future and your job, don't focus on one industry or one job or one career very early on. You yet are very young to know what you really like and what you're really good at. So start thinking about a career. And if you're successful enough, start thinking about a purpose beyond that career. What is it that you're really trying to solve? As Dr. Ranjit Singh said, India is a land of opportunities right now. We are as a country on the cusp of an economic turnaround, the kind of which only China has seen in the past 3 decades. So the opportunities are going to be there. So make sure you take advantage of these opportunities with a view on building a career, which means a sets of competencies that are complementary, that build you up, and at the same time, having a purpose of serving a greater good than just doing economically well. And with that, I'll leave you with something that I found very interesting as I was going through your institute information. The emblem of your institute is a very brilliant emblem. I have to say this. It says beautifully that Vidya and Vikas are the key to achieving Samriddhi. I mean, without Vidya and Vikas, you will not have Samriddhi. But the foundation has got to be on Sanskriti. Because if you don't have Sanskriti, you can have Samriddhi, but again, it is a civilization that is full of riches, but with no purpose, no reason. So I wish something as young people, we had done this more of, but take some time learning about the history of India, the culture of Bharat, and this will help develop confidence in yourself and your ancestors and what they have brought. So make sure that as you're working on Vidya and Vikas towards Samriddhi, you're also focusing some time on Sanskriti. So with that, I think I'll turn it over back to the moderators here, and thank you very much for your time.